Hello, everyone, and welcome to an AMLR and AMLA update on key developments and focus for 2026 and beyond. My name is Christopher Martin. I'm a senior counsel in Coinbase. So today we'll be covering a number of topics. So firstly, just a quick recap in terms of what is the AML package and the background to it. Having a look at AMLA, which is the new EU supervisory body, which will be overseeing anti-money laundering within the EU, key implementation and milestones, regulatory timelines, developments and regulatory implementing technical standards, and new supervisory architecture and its impact on entities, areas of challenge, and then practical compliance. So, where did the new AML regime come in from? Just a bit of background. Obviously, previously we had a directive-based system, so we were up to essentially fifth or sixth money laundering directive, depending on how you count it. And that produced a fragmented and inconsistent application across the member states. So because of directives, they needed national transpositions. There were a number of different approaches and different standards, particularly around the nature of the documentation that could be collected and the policies and procedures put in place by various institutions, expectations by regulators, etc. There were also a number of high-profile local anti-money laundering scandals. Obviously, Danske Bank was a significant one, Wirecard over in Germany, and in the jurisdiction I'm based in, Ireland, we had pretty much every single one of our banks had some level of deficiencies in anti-money laundering controls called out the central bank. So obviously, there were key weaknesses in this overall approach of doing it at a member state level. So this created significant political impetus for a unified, directly applicable EU framework for this supervision. So what did we do? We brought in a package in 2021 that had a number of elements to it. So firstly, moving away from the directive, we moved and put in place regulation. So regulations, for those of you unfamiliar, have direct effect. So that means that there's no local implementation. There's allocation of, say, local supervisors or competent authorities, but generally there's limited local transposition, and there is limited discretion, so it's directly applicable. There's an AML directive, effectively, that will require local transposition, but is more to do with interoperability of beneficial ownership registers and interactions between supervisory authorities. There's a recast transfer of funds regulation, which is already in place. And lastly, the AMLA regulation, which created the EU supervisory authority. So, as mentioned, the four regulatory or legislative instruments are AMLA, the AMLR, which applies from the 1st of July 2027, so obviously that's coming up soon. That establishes the single rule book for obliged entities, so those subject to anti-money laundering, and will cover everything that is already covered